As I rode down the street on my bike like any other day, it began raining. I saw an abandoned pillbox on the sidewalk and quickly got into it to protect my clothes from the rain. On that dark day, everything changed forever. My lifestyle, my sense of happiness, and my value of life. On that day, we were bombed, and my shelter was the pillbox. The only thing I could do was run. I ran and ran and ran until I found my father. When I finally found him, I asked him about our house, and he told me to go with him to the wrecked cellar we would use for shelter. When we got there, I asked him about Ben and my mother. His words would instill extreme sadness and happiness in my heart at the same time. His words were, "Ben's fine, your mother is dead." As I stood there and protected our cellar from thieves, I couldn't help but think of my mother. I expected to simply collapse of sadness, but the shock of being bombed had overcome my grief. I didn't feel for my mother at all, and I hated myself for it. As I guarded the cellar for a second night, an old wise man by the name of Branwell came to my door. I thought of shooting him, but he had words to say. Words that would change my life and the way I looked at my brother Ben on a daily basis. His words were, "He who places his brother in the land is everywhere." He also told me about a clan that I could join. I chose to go, seeking safety. When I arrived at the clan, they fed Ben and told me to help chop wood for the fire. I did as I was told, but within minutes, a clan member ran towards me and told me that Ben was missing. I remembered the old man's words, "He who places his brother in the land is everywhere." In a fearful frenzy, we ran off to search for him. We finally found people, and one was carrying Ben. I couldn't stand waiting, so I jumped out from behind a bush and screamed, "Stop, that's my brother." I quickly realized that the people were going to kill and eat Ben, and that my end would be very similar unless someone found us. In a split second, a clan member arrived, killed the cannibals, and we ran away with our lives. A war was going to be planned, and I would have to cut a fence so that the clan members could get through. A clan member, whose name I learned to be Oliver, spoke with me about the war. We spoke for quite a while, and I poured my heart out to him. I told him all about my encounter with old Branwell, and how I wanted to live simply for Ben, nothing else. I ran up to the fence, trembling. Branwell's quote kept repeating in my head. I dodged bullets just to see Ben, and then ran back to the clan house as soon as my job was done. A group of men came back with huge smiles on their faces and announced that we had won the war, that would set us free at last. I remember hearing the men repeat how it couldn't have been done without me, but I was more interested in Ben's warm, happy face and the fact that I had brought that to him. We ate like kings that night because the Swiss army was to arrive tomorrow and bring us food. It was perfect joy that we had not had in a long time. I sat in the ruins as the day passed and no Swiss army arrived. We were out of food and had no help at all. I began planning to leave this death town with Ben in hopes of reaching a nearby island which would serve as our refuge. We left today. No one said a word. We simply left. Halfway to the island, we found a small abandoned house with some food in it. I chose to stay there for a while until we regained our energy or the food ran out. I woke up, and a flash from the past overcame me. I remembered old Branwell's words, "He who places his brother in the land is everywhere." I immediately ran to Ben's side and began trying to wake him. Hair bits came off as I shook and cradled his small head. He had radiation disease and had just died. Extreme sadness overcame me, and I lost the only reason to live: Ben.